Here's the thing. You know, I'm watching that Penn State game, and, you know, it was so offensive when I see these young college kids, some women, some men, holding up signs, Joe Pa, we love you. And then they have Joe, we miss you. Joe, we love you. And then I think at some point over the course of the last few days, there was some sort of vigil held for Joe Pa.
Well, not only that, the first night, I think there was almost like a riot. Weren't they turning over a news van?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Look, let me explain it to the young, dummies who might possibly be at Penn State.
It doesn't say much about the education.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really, they should just close the school down enough and give the money from the sale of the school, whatever their endowment is, to these young kids whose lives will always be ruined. When you get fucked in the ass by us, look at this fucking guy. Well, let me say something. You know, these kids, the most offensive thing was that these kids are so stupid. These kids are so stupid at Penn State that they don't understand what they're writing on their chests and carrying signs and bellies and vigils for Joe Pa. Joe Pa is a fucking scumbag. And this guy, first of all, this redheaded coach, McQueary.
Yeah, they had to keep him off the sidelines as well. They thought he'd be too much of a distraction this time around.
Well, listen, this McQueary is a fucker. They deserve everything they're getting in spades. I don't know. This McQueary is such a, there's a jock mentality. We're football players. We stand together, The
reputation of the team or the school is more important than anything.
Yeah, let me explain to you. It's a dumb fucking game where guys beat each other's brains out. You enjoy it. You enjoy watching it. Great. But if you work for a football organization, you're dealing with a bunch of dummies for the most part. And this McQueary character, imagine he saw. Now think about this behavior. He saw this fucking in the ass in the shower, blowing. I don't know what they're doing with these 10-year-old. What this guy?
No, this was anal rape that he saw.
Anal rape he saw. So what does he do? He goes to his daddy. Now this is a grown man. It shows you he's like a dummy. He went to his dad, and I guess his dad and him figured out, we'll go to Joe Pa. I love that nickname, Joe Pa, like he's the big daddy.
Yeah, he's the worst pa ever.
Yeah, Joe Pa. Joe Pa, who knows how to run a football team. You know what? Congratulations. So he goes to Joe Pa, and Joe Pa figures, well, he'll go tell the school, and you know the rest. These are all scumbags. Who does that?
How do you see a 10-year-old being raped anally?
And not jump in.
And you don't stop it.
Right.
You don't at least try.
Crowbar him apart.
He said that, it was obvious, according to the report, both the kid and Sandusky saw him, and he just left.
What a hero this McQueary would have been if he went. He's a big Bolvan. You should see the size of this fucking guy. If he went over to this Sandusky, took his fist and rammed it right down his throat and knocked out his teeth.
Yeah, maybe this kid would have some, better opinion of humans.
It's unbelievable. Tony, you're wrong. There was one rally held for the victims, the young boys, and there was another rally held for Joe Pa.
Well, you said candlelight vigil.
There was a rally for Joe Pa, how much they love Joe Pa. And if you watch the Penn State game, they had signs. We miss you, Joe Pa. Don't tell me.
I understand it, but there was you said a candlelight vigil for Joe Pa, and I was there, and there were 10,000 people, and it was for the victims.
No, I know about that one. There were people, There was about 150 people outside of Joe Pa's place.
Yeah, but it wasn't a candlelight.
All right, candlelight. Get off my phone. You're going to argue with me. No cars were overturned because of the victims, by the way. Trust me. There were angry people who you get angry because Joe Pa's no longer at the football program. First of all, what is that, a toupee he wears? But, look, I couldn't care if Joe Pa, where he goes. Who I feel bad for is, number one, the children who were victimized, and I'm sure we're going to see lists and lists of them. I mean, this is tip of the iceberg stuff. I don't know what happened to that DA where he went. This is some story. I feel bad for these kids who go to Penn State, who pay money to go to that college. They've completely ruined that
Yeah,
experience.
even some of the sponsors have been dropping out of, the football coverage.
I even feel bad for these kids who play football and they decided to go to Penn State. They're fucked, too. But most of all, the victims, the children, imagine.
Well, actually, the school is being victimized. The people who go to the school, they're being victimized as well.
Can you imagine the anguish of the parents of these children who now find out what happened? I mean, my kids, had 3 beautiful daughters. I can imagine when they were 10 years old, if I got word, even when they were adults, that somebody was fucking them in the ass in a shower and raping them. I really, honestly, and then I found out that one of the guys saw it and didn't punch the fucking guy in the head or call the police if he's too much of a pussy.
Well, he was caught so many times. Again, I told you, he was caught having showers, naked with other kids.
I can't.
And no, that wasn't reported, I don't think. Somehow, he kept getting away with this stuff.
Wow.
And that leads to other victims. As long as he's getting away with it, he's going to do it again.
Well, listen, I don't know what to tell you. This is some story, but the best sentence in the paper was that McQuarrie had a bird's eye view of a school playground. Remember that movie where Kevin Bacon was a child molester? He lived across from a playground.
Yeah, and he was always looking out the window.
Yeah, it was driving him nuts. He was trying to beat this thing, and he couldn't. But don't live outside a playground. Ugh. So, I don't know. If you're a student at Penn State and you're somehow missing your Joe Pa, you really need your head examined.